What is up, and welcome to the Underground. It is Ned, joined by special guest metalhead himself, Trevor Phipps of Unearth. How are you, man?
I'm doing very well, man. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm going well, man. You're taking a little bit of time out there. You've been looking at the Sydney Opera House and getting out and about, I see.
It is, mate.
I love the Australian accent there too, man. And I heard that you and the lads also went and checked out the beach and got amongst that on Australia Day. Is that right?
We did. Went to the beach. It's, it was a good time. The water was warm. Uh, in Boston, it's cold right now. It's winter, so and the water never gets that warm up back home. So it was quite a day.
Yeah, that's cool. And I love the idea, Trevor, of like metalheads on the beach. I think it's a bit of a common misconception that, that metalheads are these big, hard goat blood drinking guys, but there you guys are out on the beach having a good time, living your best life.
You can do both, man.
Yeah, you've got a goblet of goat's blood on one side and you're just enjoying the waves on the other sort of deal.
Well, we stayed dry that day, but the evening is when we tied on usually. So but it was a nice day. Got some exercise in the water, fighting those waves for over an hour, man. It was a good workout.
Oh, nice, man. I like that right there. What else have you sort of got into and got amongst while you've been out here, Trevor?
Uh, Before we did the Opera House, we went to the zoo at the harbor, and then we took the ferry ride over here. So we did some stuff. And generally, we like to walk around the cities and see and try out the different restaurants, pubs, just walk around the streets to see what the cities have to offer. We went to a beach in Newcastle as well. Didn't
Yeah.
really go in the water, but have time. But we did that before sound check, just kind of scope it out. Beautiful place.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite spot while you're in Australia? You've been here not for a little while, but you've been here before.
Been here before. I mean, I really do like Sydney quite a bit. It's beautiful here. Um, in years past, we went to Byron Bay, Gold Coast, been to really nice beach towns. Um, because I'm from an area that has beautiful beaches, but like I mentioned before, the water is never warm. So when
Yeah.
I'm in an area where water is warm, it is nice to get to go in the water and spend some time. I mean, there's no way I'd spend over an hour in the water without getting out, man. You go to the beach all day near Boston, but you go in the water 10, 15 minutes, get out, warm up, go back in, cool off. But here I was
Yeah.
in there just hanging out. It's really fun, and I do like seeing the wildlife here because it is very unique.
Yeah, no, that's very cool there. Yeah, have you caught up with got to see any koalas or kangaroos or anything like that, I guess?
Yeah, so at the zoo here in Sydney, we did do the koala exhibit, and it's great. They have a lot of charities that they support, so it's I like seeing that zoos are they're they're seemingly getting away from being animal prisons and more sanctuaries for animals, and they're donated to keep them prosperous in nature.
Yeah. Hey, just real quickly, it looks like you're almost ready to jump back in that beach there. It's a hot one today. Hey.
Warm one, man. Yeah, we were cooking out there. We're
Yeah.
trying to get some band shots, some promo shots, and we're getting baked. Of
Well, you were talking about being from Boston before, Trevor. Are you a Celtics fan?
course.
Yeah, nice. Do you follow the NBA or anything like that? Because I was just wondering, man, like what sort of things outside of music do you get into?
I grew up a sports fan, big time Red Sox fan.
Excellent.
Just a big four, Boston, of course, Pats, Celtics, Bruins, and Red Sox. Um, to be fully honest, for some reason, once the pandemic hit, I got away from sports. I just found myself um, finding my interest elsewhere. I still enjoy them, but I'm not as focused on them as I used to be. Not saying I won't get back into them as much as I was, but I just kind of change my mindset and what I find is important. And although they are very entertaining and fun to watch.
Yeah, that's cool right there. And it's interesting. It's like a lot of people found themselves getting more into sports and stuff during the pandemic because that's all there sort of was happening where we're from anyway. There was no crowds, but sports was the only thing. I was going to ask you a little bit later on, but may as well do it now. What did you find yourself keeping busy during the pandemic, Trevor? Is this when you're working on the new music and the new material, or how did you find yourself spending time to stay sane?
I really focused on my family and my kids.
Nice.
Spent a lot of time with them. And then I did a lot of work around the house. Like I redid my deck in my house and did a lot of stuff like that. And then as the pandemic wore on, that's when we started working on the record. And Buzz did a great job writing these songs, and he would send us files, and we'd just go back and forth, with ideas. And we had 16 songs to start, and we went to the studio with Will Putney in October of actually in September 2021. We recorded them all, and eventually brought it down to 11 songs for this upcoming record.
Oh wow! So you've been sitting on the music for a little bit there, and the Wretched, the Rawness, that is a crazy track right there. It only just dropped like a couple of days ago. It looks like it's been a strong start for that one too.
Killer, thanks, man. It's one we're really proud of. And, the record as a whole is something that we're very excited for people to hear. We're definitely finding ourselves in new territories, and the way that we did that was Buzz writes. He's usually written the majority of the rest, but this record is solely him on guitar. What he did was he forced himself to not lean on his normal tendencies. So it kind of made him go away from his comfort zone, which
Nice.
created different sounding music and brought us into new territories, which then in turn made me become a different vocalist, finding different ranges. And that said, also during the pandemic, I put up a wall in my attic to be more soundproof, and I have my mic, and so with all the programs out there, I started to record myself and really test my limits as a vocalist, and really try to increase my range. And people will hear that on the new record. There's a whole bunch of different flavors for the voice as well, just to try to give the listener, more to listen to and more to grab onto with our songs. And for us, it's more fun to add these flavors, to hear a different side of us while it still sounds like Unearth.
Oh, that's crazy right there. And I have to ask it. I know you're probably not gonna say, but I was reading that you're announcing soon in a couple of weeks when we can hear this new album.
Announcing what?
The release date of the new album.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in May. There's waiting on a couple of things, but it's either going to be mid or late May, I believe. But I'm leaning towards early to late May. There's a few different factors, but I believe it'd be around May 5th, but it'll be later in May if we don't hit certain deadlines with some things. But the record's fully delivered. Might be a couple of assets that have to be worked out to reach the May 5th date.
Love it right there. That's my wife's birthday. What better than a new Unearth album? She'll be all about that big time metalhead. Love it, Trevor. You were talking about building a deck and that sort of stuff. One of my upcoming questions was, if you're not doing metal, what do you think you would have done?
I would have been involved in music somehow.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm actually doing now. Is that during the pandemic, I found myself working. And I've been working for a long time. So to keep the career alive in music after we stopped really touring full time, because in the 2000s we were gone 9 months a year, no time to have a job.
Yeah.
But around 2013, I had my daughter, and we weren't touring as much because there's no desire to tour 9 months a year when you have a kid. We still tour, considered full time worldwide touring band, but I started picking up side jobs. There's plenty of gig worker type jobs out there, which I'm happy to do. But then during the pandemic, I was working at UPS driving, and then my friend called me and asked what I was doing, and actually sent me a text, and I sent him a text back, and he flipping him off with the UPS shirt on.
I like
he said,
that,
"Hey,
man.
come work here." So he's a co-owner of a merch company called Downright Merch, and I found myself working there. And I was doing production manager for a while, and now I'm an account manager. So basically, what I do is I deal with bands, help them stock the web store, help them get their merch for tour. And what's in turn that has done is helped improve our web store. Now I have the knowledge to really work a web store and our tour merch. So um, it's still music based. It's still based in metal, hardcore, and rock and roll mostly. And so it's enjoyable on that front to do that. I have found it is difficult to maintain it when being on the other side of the world. So I'm currently on vacation, but Downright Merch is an excellent merch company. So if bands looking for merch, I would suggest hitting them up.
That is fascinating right there, man. I had no idea at all. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that insight. And I love the idea of you flipping your buddy off in the UPS top. That's really cool right there, man. All right, before
Man, I got 5 kids to feed. That's a Total Recall rep. I only have 2 kids. I don't really have 5.
Oh, that's
Great
super
movie
fun.
though, Total Recall. The Arnold one. I haven't seen the new one.
Before I let you go, like we're talking films and stuff like that. What have you seen anything lately that you would highly recommend or for people to check out?
I haven't seen a lot of films lately, but I do love the whole Star Wars franchise.
Excellent.
And of course, I got into The Mandalorian quite a bit.
That was good.
I did really love the Kenobi series. I know that some people were very critical of it, but I thought it was excellent. And growing up a Star Wars fan of the original 3, I of course I liked the prequels, but I was critical of them a bit. But because I have kids, my wife and I put on episodes. We actually watched the 11 movies, including Rogue One and Solo. We watched them in order in the timeline.
Wow.
So even though my kids, we told them that Anakin is Darth Vader, when they were watching prequels, they were rooting for him not to become Vader, like out loud, like yelling at the TV at the screen. It was really adorable to see. So when the Kenobi series came out, we watched it as a family, and I thought it was an excellent series. I thought it was very well done, especially the final battle scene. And that was Oscar worthy for me, but that's coming from a huge Star Wars fan. So I thought it was very, very well done.
Yeah, I love that there, right there. I started on Kenobi and only got a couple of episodes in. And I haven't got back into it, but saying that you watched all 11 back to back like that, always wanted to do that. So hats off to you for having a go, man. That's awesome. What about on the horror?
The whole pandemic to do it. So we did it like once every 2 weeks, or once every 3 weeks. We sit down and just kind of space it out. Just everyone found their way to make time pass by, and that was one of the things we did.
Yeah, that's awesome right there. I was going to ask real quick too. Did you get into horror and stuff like that growing up, like horror movies?
When I was a kid, that's when I was mostly into horror. Of course, I enjoy them still now, but I don't do a lot of films these days. But I grew up with the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street franchises, and those are forever impactful for me. I have a funny story I tell sometimes when my brother Dan, he's my brother close in age. My parents went out on a date when we were maybe 7 and 3, or 8 and 4, something like that. And we somehow convinced them that our parents would let us watch a horror movie. So we watched Friday the 13th Part 3 when we were 3 little kids. It did give us nightmares for a while. The parents would never let us, man. We were somehow extra convincing.
That is awesome, man. I love that right there. Very, very cool.
But Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the best of all time. What a film.
Yeah, love that right
and the
there,
soundtrack man. Too.
Oh, yes. So you got 2 shows coming up in Australia, plenty still to come. The new album coming out in May, fingers crossed on the 5th. Is there anything else that we need to know?
On this tour, we're going to finish up in Taiwan after the show in Melbourne. It's our first time in Taiwan, so we're really excited about that trip. Then we have just under 2 months off. We go to Europe to headline the Hell on Earth tour with Misery Index, Year of the Knife, Leech, and Turbid North. Our bassist Crystal Tool, that's his other band, is Turbid North, and it's their first time in Europe, so that'll be fun to tour with them. And I actually put out their first record years ago on my label's been on pause for many years now, Ironclad Recordings. But I did that for a long time, and I put out their record, Progeny, which I would highly recommend. you can find it online or YouTube, and it's all in their hands now. I have nothing to do with it anymore, but I love that record to this day. Rajani by Trevor is a killer record, and they have a new one out now as well, so I recommend that. And then after that, we're looking for a North American tour around the release of the record, and then after that, we have some festivals in Europe in June. Then after that, we're just looking to tour. You know, find us on the road. Hopefully, come back to Australia in a year or two. Don't want to wait 8 years until the next time.
Yeah, please don't.
It's fun touring, man. It's got to balance the work, family life, and the touring life together. But so far, we're off to a good start this year.
Yeah, love that. Hopefully some more videos too. The Wretched, the Realness was a great one. Looked like a bunch of fun. It looks like you're really big in Japan too, man. That was super cool. If that's anything to go by, the new album's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for taking time out. Really appreciate it, Trevor. Be sure to hit these guys up. Linktree/Unearth Official has got all the links to websites, the new video, upcoming, everything. Thank you. Really appreciate it, Trevor.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.